going to do a quick video today on the packs that I've used, and this is definitely not a review. It's just showing a couple of packs I've used and different ways that I've used them, mostly military packs. This is a large Alice pack. Here's the frame to it below. This is the type of pack I've had for about 20 years, and I originally used to do a lot of through hiking, and this is something that I've used. It can, handle up to about 80 pounds. You all know it has 3 large compartments outside and a big one inside. This one has the quick release straps like a lot of them do. The frame is aluminum, it's external. I don't really use it anymore, and I've taken the frame off so that if I ever were to use it, I would just simply throw it over a shoulder. I wouldn't put more than 25 pounds in it. One of the reasons I don't use it is I no longer go through hiking. I really don't like it. I've done the Appalachian Trail, I've done it over a 2-week period, and I found it just wasn't enjoyable. It was about getting from 1 mile marker to another, and then finding a shelter before it got dark. We weren't building our shelters, we were utilizing the ones that they had there. You never know who was going to show up or what hour, and it wasn't enjoyable. I guess through hiking is great for some people, but nowadays I'd rather go a couple of miles, establish a base camp in the middle of nowhere, be stealth, and not just get from point A to point B like I'm driving on the interstate looking at exits, but enjoy nature from one location and get into the bushcrafting aspect of things. Also, one great thing about this frame, and the reason I've kept it, is that if you notice on the back of it, I've added an attachment, which is a very inexpensive frame that would allow you, for example, to put a 5-gallon gas can to carry water. You could put a box on there, someone can carry game out. And so I've kept it just for future eventualities. Anyway, this is the first pack I've had, and then I've also modified a MOLLE frame. And if you notice, the way the Alice pack works on the back, it has, it has this, I guess you'd call it something that would slip over the frame. And so I lined this frame up with the MOLLE frame, and then I made these cutouts on the MOLLE frame itself so that the Alice frame can fit over it. And the reason I did this was to put the Alice frame, the Alice pack on the MOLLE frame, and then take advantage of the sleeping bag carrier system that comes with the MOLLE. So that's the Alice frame. The next pack is the actual MOLLE 2 pack. And again, it doesn't have the capacity of an Alice pack. It does have the sleep carrier system, and again, this is not a review. I've used this pack for day hikes and for 3-day trips and what have you, but it became it wasn't practical for me. As I said, I've stopped doing through hikes, and this was just too big for a 3-day trip or a scout trip, and too small for an excursion. For excursions, I then use this ILBE pack. And again, this can carry up to 120 pounds, and I don't want to do it. I try to keep it under 60 pounds. But if I ever had to really go for a long time, go out into the woods for an indefinite stay, I would use this pack. It can handle up to 120 pounds, and that sounds like a lot, but if you think about it, it really isn't. If you ever thought about moving from one apartment or house to another, you're taking thousands of pounds of gear. Now that's comfort living. If you were to go out for an indefinite period of time in the woods or in the bush, 120 pounds is really not a lot. Even if I only could walk 5 miles a day before I set up camp because my back was killing me, I would still take this. If you think about the 49ers during the gold rush, an individual would carry a ton, 2,000 pounds of gear. Now the wagon may drop them off somewhere on the Yukon Trail, and they'd unload 2,000 pounds worth of gear, because these guys, they had all kinds of mining equipment, they had food to survive the winters, so literally 2,000 pounds, but they would set up a depot, and they may, make 10 trips of 200 pounds each, a couple of miles, and then come back, and it could take months to get there, and in some cases it did. But this ILB pack, like I said, I try to keep it at 60 pounds. This is if I was going to go for several miles into the woods, again, set up a camp, but stay there for a week or more. And again, you can see I have some external pockets on it. and it really serves my purpose, but I very rarely use this. Most of my trips are limited to 2 or 3 days, and I'll get into that sort of setup in another video. This some people refer to as a bob, and I don't. I don't know what it means to bug out, and I hope I never do. This is just, if I'm ever traveling in my car, or truck I should say, more than 100 miles from home, this is what I take with me. An example would be, and again, it would be for me to have the essentials I need to get home. An example would be this. I live in southern Vermont, and this particular winter we had some, a 4-foot snowstorm. There were people stuck on the New York Thruway for up to 12 hours. In this bag, I would have an emergency wind-up radio, so I would be entertained. I'd certainly have things to keep me warm. I might have some candles and flashlights and something to, allow me some light. I have books in there to read. So again, I'm not, I'm not talking survival. I'm just talking about getting stuck on a freeway or anywhere and trying to be comfortable while they dig me out until I can get home. And so that's really it in terms of these military packs and how they use them. As I said, I will show you what I do now, which is none of these options when I go out, for example, a 3-day trip and, maybe a couple of miles from my house. And when I say that, I live on 20 acres, and there are 1,000 acres of undeveloped land behind me that is privately owned, and in 10 years, I've never seen anyone on them, and so that's where I go. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. And again, just some more of the packs. The ILBE, the Molly 2, the Alice frame. This is the Molly 2 that's adapted to fit an Alice frame, and then the Alice pack itself. Thanks.